Welcome, everyone. I'm Jeff Herring, along with Denise Wakeman, who you'll meet in a moment. I want to tell you some things I believe about you as a content creator. Okay. I believe content creators are sitting on a gold mine, every single one of you. Now, what gets in the way is I believe content creators have been sold a bill of goods. Okay. And that's that you got to out content everybody else. Just create more content and you'll be fine. All right. Now, you can do that if you're Gary Vee. And I like the guy. I mean, I've been to New York and interviewed him in his publisher's office. Okay. And had to go through 2 screening things, Denise, to get through. And I'm like, this is more than the air. So he's a good guy. I like him. And at the same time, okay, I don't know about you, but I don't have $100,000 to spend on a staff every month, right? And nor do I have the money to have somebody follow me around all day with a camera. Neither am I that narcissistic either. So you guys can't out competition. I mean, out content your competition. However, I believe content creators can make every piece of your content profitable. Every single one of them. I believe content creators can convert your content into profitable products, even if you've never sold a thing online. Okay. Because the way that we do this, it makes it selling without selling. Now, if you're going to write one of these down or write this one down, whether you're live or on the replay, I believe content creators are just one content flip away from consistent income. And what we're going to be doing today is playing with some new content flips, turning product into different products. So hello, Denise, my friend.
Hello, Jeff, my friend. See you?
Good to see you as always. Denise and I were talking about where we went live about how far back we go. And it'll be, I think next year it'll be 20, won't it? Yeah. Because we ended up in the same Tom Antion thing in 06. And the rest is history. And somewhere, I wish I could have found it for this. There is a 06 picture of you, Tom, and I.
Yes, there is somewhere.
And we look a little different. I still have our kids, our out to bring up the screen because Denise has something new. It's really cool that you're going to want anyway. As soon as Jeff is full of his mouse here. Here we go. Different screen. Put us where we belong. Or test something. Okay. Which way can you see better? This way?
That way. Yeah.
This way? Okay, we'll do it this way.
Otherwise, it's covering
the bottom of it. Okay, folks, what would you rather see? An 80-slide PowerPoint presentation, that you've seen a gazillion times? That's a real number, a gazillion. Or how about one slide, one document, okay, that gives you everything you need, and we just talk about it. Been asking that for a while, Denise, and no one ever wants the 80-slide webinar. I don't understand.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, go figure. Denise, tell us about the visibility loop.
Well, the visibility loop was created after a previous stint on your show where we converted an article that I had written into a product, or we came up with lots of product ideas.
Right.
And the article was on my newsletter, Your Visibility Edge, and it was about LinkedIn plus Substack for maximum visibility. And I went through a process in that article to talk about how you can combine the two to get more visibility on LinkedIn and then use LinkedIn to get more visibility for your newsletter and more subscribers for your newsletter.
Right.
So we talked about that and came up with a bunch of ideas, and then I noodled on them for a while, and I came up with what I call the visibility loop. And I took Substack out of that equation and just called it your newsletter because it really is about LinkedIn and any newsletter that you have. It doesn't have to be on Substack.
Right.
And so I didn't want to just lock myself into only Substack.
I think that's wild.
So yeah, so I created this loop where you use LinkedIn to create posts, see what kind of response you get, basically, and then pick one of the posts. Let's say you post 3 times in a week on LinkedIn, then you pick the one that got the most visibility or the most engagement, let's say, and then turn that into an article for your newsletter. Then you repurpose that article again into different types of content, different sections of the content or pieces of content, and that you can take back to LinkedIn to promote that newsletter
I
article,
love
the
it.
newsletter, and complete
I
it.
love I love the simplicity and the power of that. If we wanted to, could we take some of those converted newsletter pieces and make notes with them? Do notes on Substack?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what
I
think
do.
about-
I do.
yeah, I bet you do. One of the things I like about the visibility loop in this process, the weekly content cycle, because you can use it in a lot of places. And I love the weekly content cycle versus the content hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Yours is just the opposite of that. Okay. So
Yeah, it's
folks,
basically one long form piece of content that is
yes,
developed from some shorter posts and then reformatted into shorter posts to promote
exactly
the
right.
whole thing, and then you start it all over again.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Now, folks, what we're going to look at is the current product and then 4 different products. I had the visibility loop here, but I took it down when I was using this with a client currently. So we'll get the visibility loop, and we got to give it the full title. The, not just any
The
visibility. The.
exactly. It's very specific. It's the visibility.
There you go.
Thank you.
The current product. Sure. And this is what I call your content profit ecosystem. Okay. Because what we're going to build out here from Denise's product is 3 more. And this could be your whole business. Okay. And you could then do it for different products and have all kinds of stuff. But let's keep it simple for today. Okay. Now, folks, get inside the visibility loop. My gosh, you need to get it. At the end of the show, I'll give you a link and it'll also be in the show notes. It's worth just the custom GPT that I was playing with earlier, Denise. Oh my gosh. That's
I
just
know. I know. When I added that, I mean, I added it on as a bonus because I added it a little bit after I launched the product,
okay.
and
Right.
I was like, "Oh my god, this is so
Yeah.
I was excited about my own thing that I created, so
That's a good feeling, isn't it? That's a good
exciting.
sign. Well,
It is.
all right. So what we've got here, folks, are 3 different type of products you can create from this. Okay. So the spin-off product. Denise, you and I have been around long enough to remember Happy Days, Laverne and
Mhm.
Shirley, Mork and Mindy, those spin-offs, right? Some of you are
Yep.
going, who? And others of you can come up with your own spin-offs in more recent. Okay. A prequel product is something that points to the main product, in this case, the visibility loop. Think about Star Wars. The first one was episode number 4, which is, we didn't know that then, right? Remember standing in line in the movie theater in 1977 and having no
I
idea.
know, me too.
Wish I had bought some of those action figures. Anyway, and then they came up with 3 prequels. First one stunk, but the other 2 were pretty good. I didn't like Jar Jar Binks very much. And so,
I didn't see them all,
oh, okay.
but
A
I
little
know
bit
that
of,
there were prequels.
yeah, gotcha. And then there's a sequel. And for our purposes, it's after the visibility loop or your hub product, folks. What do they need next? Okay. So now some of you are thinking, what if I don't have a product? Well, we can do this with an idea. Okay. Well, what do I do first if I don't have a product? Right. You can start wherever you are. Okay. As my buddy Mike Stewart says, people used to ask him, what video camera should I use? And his answer was the one you have, which I thought was a really
Was.
nice. And when people came up to him at workshops, I don't know if you ever heard him do this. But people would say, can you give me one more tip? And Mike would say, yeah, plant your corn early. He put looks, and I'd be behind him laughing my head off. Okay. So you can start with, what's better for him? Yeah, you can start with the prequel. You can start with the hug. Don't let that get in the way. Don't you dare make this hard. You start. Okay. So Denise, I've got a couple ideas having gone through the program.
Good.
I'd like to hear from you though. What do you think would be a great spinoff product for this?
Okay, I haven't thought about this. Oh, I've thought about the sequel product more than
Well, we can start there.
what's the difference between a spin-off and a sequel in your ecosystem?
Okay. For example, the first product I had was the first course was article writing and marketing secrets. Okay, back in 07. It was thank you. It was called that because article marketing secrets, somebody had already stolen it. So, and it had 4 modules, one of which was about article marketing. And within that was one little piece called list building. Okay. And everybody fell in love with that. And I thought, okay, that could be the next product, the spinoff from the big product. Right. And so that became list building gold secrets because somebody had stolen list building secrets.
Imagine that.
Yeah. And so it's a piece of the current product, the visibility loop for you, the hub for everybody else. The difference is a sequel is more now that they've gotten this, what do they need next? Now that they've got the visibility loop working for them, what do they need?
Okay, from a sequel point of view, I'm going to start that first. So I just launched this 2 months ago,
Has it been that long? Oh my gosh,
3 months ago.
yesterday.
Anyway, time flies. And so I've received some feedback because I did a few comps first to people I know and trust and said, I want feedback. And yeah, yes. Well, you were the inspiration to begin with. So,
Well,
you should get pumped.
so nice.
One of the questions I asked in my survey at the end is, one, did you do all the piece, did you get through the whole thing?
Right.
Because it's only really probably could take 2 hours to start to do the process once
Right.
a week. And then what would you like to see next?
Okay. Excellent.
And a mastermind group was one of the things that came up a couple of times. So that's leans into where is a good spot for me too. And so that's something I've been looking at.
The
I will say,
remind me.
yeah, the other piece that I'm looking at, so a mastermind group, that's a group thing. It's like group coaching or group whatever. And the other thing I've been looking at is like a one-on-one, like VIP day to get through the whole process for people who just aren't getting to it. They're just not getting to it. Because we all know when we book time with someone, we are there and we do it, right? When I'm so done with you, it's a 4-hour, work day or something.
Right. Yeah. You do those all online.
I've done both.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I kind of like the online part.
Yeah, it's easier.
But
it's so weird. It reminds me of when I was a counseling psychologist, and I had this article in a newspaper that got syndicated all over the country. And back then it was little old Tallahassee Regional Airport. I mean, there was like one gate, because the article appeared in all these papers, people were flying from all over, from LaGuardia, New York City, or LAX, or the little Tallahassee Regional Airport to spend a week with me in my office, and it was just crazy because really, like some of my friends, they go, I need to talk to these people about it. And then we would work on the phone after that. It was before on lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could work virtually afterwards with them or do it virtually. And in a many ways, look at this. I mean, it's much the same. Okay, so sequel could be the visibility edge mastermind or VIP day. Um,
Mhm.
and the VIP day is more expensive than the mastermind. You could downsell to the mastermind.
Right.
Now, what's a piece of like does it have 10 emails that people get? How many?
It's 10 emails kind of setting the stage, what you need to prepare for, and then the actual steps each day. I mean,
Okay.
literally someone could do it in 2 hours if they wanted
Right.
to, but I've spread it out over time because so many people say, "I don't have time." Right?
Right.
Have time. So just
Right.
do one or two just do a small step today, you know?
Yeah. Now, is there one of those that could be a spinoff that could stand alone? And it's okay if the answer is no.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty holistic process, but I would imagine that one could focus on just, like, repurposing articles.
Okay.
That could be I mean, that's been done forever, but, I mean, I've been talking about that since, like, 2008.
Yeah.
But
Hey.
or I how to write the best content for LinkedIn or something like that, but yeah. So I'm curious to know what you would think.
Well, I'm trying to decide where to put your specialized GPT,
Oh, yeah.
whether that's a spinoff or whether that's a prequel,
Well,
because
that could be a product by itself, sure, but just that with maybe, a page of I don't know, maybe it could be instead of an email course that it could be, the bundling the emails into an ebook, let's say,
okay, all right,
with the GPT. I don't know. I think the GPT by itself, I mean, I really built it to work
with the course,
with the course. I mean, that was the idea of it is to be your course guide.
okay. Would it be possible to do the GPT with a checklist? Would that give them enough information? Could they go?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe, and I'm still torn between making that a spinoff or a a prequel because the prequel argument would be that's going to get people wanting the whole thing.
I see. Okay, yeah.
The spinoff would be you'd have to expand it somehow, maybe with the checklist or because like most spinoffs are expanded. Okay, like
Mhm.
Laverne and Shirley became this whole thing, and it
Right.
expanded. Mork and Mindy became what the craziness it became,
Yeah.
and so maybe you're repurposing GPT or any of those, and yeah, I like having the checklist and the GPT as a prequel.
As a
Um,
prequel as a prequel.
yeah, yeah,
So, yeah, so then I kinda think about, well, the pricing, because first of all, it's priced pretty low right now. I mean, the GPT alone, I mean, I did research on how much people sell GPTs for, and they're like anywhere from, 50 to $150 just for a GPT.
yep.
So, as a prequel, that might be a little expensive, or I just bump up pricing on everything. I can tell
Oh,
you
yeah,
right now, folks, you get it all for $37 right now.
right now. That's why I encourage Denise to raise her prices. What about this idea? I don't know if this would be easier since you already have one, but could there be the visibility loop GPT light, like a light version of it?
Okay. I'd have to think about what that
Yeah.
would look
Yeah.
like.
I don't know how it would look,
I mean,
but
it all seems pretty light to me, in terms of what you're creating. I mean, not light in value and content, but it's not a big product as it stands right now because I'm much more focused on doing bite-sized things,
Right.
which all of this feeds into for sure. So yeah,
Well, you just,
maybe it could be the prequel could be it without, like, pull the GPT out.
oh, okay. And just be a checklist?
Or, well, I guess the visibility loop is the visibility loop. Could be a checklist.
Yeah. Yeah. So a checklist,
Maybe yeah.
and you can make it more than, a little box to fill in. You can have
Yeah.
underneath it training, and that could be a checklist ebook or, 30-minute masterclass or something. You just
Yeah.
get me a great idea with the light part, because my most recent one that I sent you and Andy is called Create Product Ready Content for Me.
Yeah.
And
That was good.
thank you. It gets I've learned from you guys. It has got every one of my content creation templates in there, and it will continue to be added to and grow. I could take just one of those templates and make a GPT and then say, well, it's like this.
Mhm.
You can get all of them here. So, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So the GPT Lite perhaps is the prequel. Let's see. Spin off. What's the if you had to well, you already did it. You broke it down into 3 steps over here.
Mhm.
Link post, expanded a newsletter, repurpose for LinkedIn. What do you think people would like the most to go deeper with of those 3 things?
Well, I keep looking at I'm looking if you notice, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at the image, and what I keep looking at is expand into newsletter.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't know, what would you
I
think?
think of all those 3 pieces, the LinkedIn post, the repurposed pieces, and a newsletter. Newsletter is the strongest visibility.
Yeah.
So, what would be a cool name for a newsletter about, well, your Visibility Edge newsletter? I mean, come on, let's not make this hard. The acronym is VIN. I don't know what we could do with that, but
Yeah, okay, so I have it I have the newsletter, so,
okay.
but if it's the person buying this to build their visibility with the spin-off product see, I was thinking of it differently, not my newsletter,
Okay.
my newsletter,
Again, newsletter.
that yeah,
Oh,
like,
brilliant. I like that.
I mean, I do promote my newsletter i in in the email sequence,
Good.
but I was thinking, like, well, how do you I mean, you okay, so
That's it. I think that's it.
okay, help
Okay.
them show them how to create a newsletter article from these,
Yeah.
like, actually do that part.
Yeah. And, you know, and do other pieces to it, maybe the tip of the week or the client of the week or whatever, have more pieces to it than just the
Mhm.
art. Um, well, yeah, because they can use that on Substack. They can use that anywhere. They can use that on their website.
Right. Yeah, because it's really an article. When
Right.
it says developed a newsletter, I mean, this is the same issue I had with blogging, and people would say, "Well, I wrote a blog," and I'm like, "No, the blog is the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
article on your blog. It's a post on your
Exactly.
blog." I
Yeah.
mean, I was fighting that from, day one practically.
I
So it's
remember that.
like, "Oh, I wrote a newsletter." Well, no, you wrote an article for your newsletter. Your
Right.
newsletter is the collection of everything.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
maybe that's just me, but
No, I
that's
think he's there because I had a hard time, challenge is the better word, at the beginning of my Substack time with newsletter article. Are they interchangeable? You know? Uh,
because newsletter was always something that people subscribe to, and then you send them articles like
Cool.
so,
Right.
on a consistent, regular
Right.
schedule, right?
Right.
Okay. So I should really say this expand into newsletter article.
One of the ways you could, I agree. One of the ways you could expand it
Mhm.
is at the bottom of the newsletter, include like 3 to 5 action questions designed to get them into action about what they just read. You know,
Mhm.
like, what's the biggest tip? What's your biggest takeaway from what you just read?
Mhm.
Um, what's your strategy for doing the first piece before your head hits the pillow tonight? Another one I use a lot is, what obstacles can we predict will get in the way?
Mhm.
Number 4, what's your plan to deal with those? Number 5, when are you going to finish by? That kind of stuff. And make up
Mhm.
your own too.
Right.
And now here's the thing that just amazes me. But folks, get this because it's cool. Okay, 5 action questions at the end. You put like just straight lines, nothing on them, just lines to put in text underneath each question, and it
Mhm.
becomes newsletter workbook. You're getting paid for lines.
Getting paid for lines.
You can raise your price.
Okay.
Okay.
So just let I just need so the spinoff. We're saying that the spinoff would be a product that would teach about writing newsletter articles from your LinkedIn posts.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Instead of just saying write an article for because in the email course, it's like,
Right.
okay, now write it. And I do give AI prompts on how to do all this stuff
Good.
throughout the
Good. You
course.
can do a lot of
Yeah,
it
yeah.
once.
But it
Okay.
could be, expanded that
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
And so to review, folks, and for Denise too, the visibility loop is the main product. And folks, I'll give you the link right now. Okay. It's at Denise Wakeman, DeniseWakeman.com/loop, not loopy, but loop. Denise
Just
Wakeman
loop.
/loop. Okay. It's a steal for, what did you say it was? $37?
$37, yeah.
Oh crap. That's crazy.
And that's the custom GPT guide.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's worth, I think, 10 times the pro. I think, yeah. Just the GPT alone is worth 10 times 37. So yeah, get that, folks. Use it. Denise has got good stuff. And then the spinoff is the newsletter part. The mastermind or VIP days is the sequel. And the prequel is you're going to play around with a GPT life.
Yep. Okay. Got it.
I don't even know if Andy's ever thought of that. Has he? GPT likes?
No, I
Well,
don't
there
think
we go.
so.
There we go.
Yeah, we go all in when we do this stuff.
Grace.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Denise, thanks for being here.
Thank you,
You're my
Jeff.
guest. My pleasure. My pleasure. I've lost track of how many times we've done stuff like this together. And
Bye.
folks, Denise is the first one of the return of the content product. We're still going to turn content into products. I also want to put in turning products into more products. And for the whole entire month, I'm bringing in my friends and colleagues in the business to do that. Next week is Mike Searles, who may actually be here with us. Hi, Mike. If you're in here, just say hi in the chat. Um, and he's an interesting guy. He's got a new thing about wisdom. All right. So folks, as always, you know what to do. Go use this stuff. And as always, we will catch you next time.